Please be seated. I apologize. Please stand for the national anthem.
Everyone up? Just checking to see if everyone's paying attention. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sweet as that star-spangled banner yet wave. Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. Good afternoon. I'm Sunil Kumar, Provost of Johns Hopkins University. I have the privilege to welcome you to today's hooding ceremony, and I have the honor to be among the first to publicly congratulate our 2019 PhD candidates. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving this distinguished group of soon-to-be minted scholars a round of applause. And now, candidates, if you owe a debt of gratitude to someone who is here this afternoon, whether it's a parent, a professor, or a special somebody, will you also join me in a round of applause to thank them for helping you accomplish all that you have? As doctoral students, you have spent the last few years thinking about the subtle, the complex, and the profound. So why do we insist on ending that experience with the ceremony that seems to consist of meaningless ritual? One can ask the question, shouldn't we simply scoff at the superficiality of all that's about to transpire? I would like to answer firmly in the negative. In many such ceremonies, a ritual sentence is uttered. Welcome to this ancient and honorable company of scholars. The use of the phrase honorable company suggests the ancient guilds of England. As with any guild, the scholars must have a code of conduct that distinguishes them from those who do not belong in the guild. For me, the code of a scholar is simple: to pursue an objective study until one truly understands. This is the code that I believe you're promising to uphold by accepting your degree at commencement on Thursday. It is not an easy code to uphold. In many future endeavors, you will find yourself as the person who knows the most about the object of study. So if you were to stop short of true understanding, no one else will know, but you will. Today's ceremony is intended to make explicit and affirm in your mind that as long as you know that you haven't fully understood, you must continue to study. By wearing the hood, you promise to uphold this code. Your transition from a PhD candidate to a PhD recipient is nearly finished, but I hope your relationship with Johns Hopkins University is not. You're part of the Johns Hopkins family now and forever, and I urge you to stay connected. You never know how you might be able to contribute, how you might be able to make possible for someone else what you're commemorating and celebrating today. George Peabody, who established what is now our Peabody Institute more than 150 years ago, called education a debt due from present to future generations. So, while you're blazing new trails of inquiry, please also remember the obligation you have to scholars to come. We are so very proud of you, and we anticipate with great excitement your achievements, your service to society, and your personal and professional success. Congratulations once again. Now, it is my honor to introduce your keynote speaker, one of the world's leading planetary scientists and a Johns Hopkins alum. Dr. Hal Weaver has been pursuing space-borne, rocket-borne, airborne, and ground-based investigations in planetary science since 1978. He earned his doctoral degree in physics from Johns Hopkins University and currently serves as the project scientist and co-investigator on NASA's New Horizons mission, which is the first spacecraft mission to Pluto and the Kuiper Belt. In addition, he's currently a co-investigator on NASA's Lucy mission that will study 6 of Jupiter's Trojan asteroids, which represent some of the oldest objects in our solar system. Dr. Weaver also serves as the principal investigator for the Lucy Long-Range Reconnaissance Imager, LORI instrument that will be used for this mission. Among other capabilities, this camera will produce maps of asteroids, allowing scientists to chart geology and estimate surface ages. It's an extremely exciting project that will shed light on some of the critical links to the solar system's early history. Prior to his current positions, Dr. Weaver was an astronomer at the Space Telescope Science Institute for nearly 10 years, where he led the development of moving target capabilities for the Hubble Space Telescope, as well as multiple Hubble science observation programs. In 1996, he rejoined the Johns Hopkins University Department of Physics and Astronomy, where he served as a research scientist and deputy to the project scientist for NASA's Far Ultraviolet Spectroscopic Explorer Satellite Observatory. Among his many honors, Dr. Weaver was awarded the NASA Medal for Exceptional Scientific Achievement in 1988 for his observations of Comet Halley that resulted in the first unambiguous direct detection of water in comets. And for me, today was a first, and that is because this is the first time I shook hands with someone who has some celestial object named for him. In 1996, asteroid 1984 FN was renamed asteroid Hal Weaver in recognition of his groundbreaking work on the chemical composition of comets. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Weaver to the podium.
Thank you, Provost Kumar, for that very kind introduction. I'd also like to thank the deans for inviting me to give this address. It's quite an honor, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity. But now I'd like to turn my attention to the new PhDs. Congratulations. In my view, you represent the vanguard of civilization. I know that sounds pretentious, but it's true. With your scholarly research, which is being recognized here today, you are exploring at the frontier of knowledge, going where no one has gone before. This is especially the case for Hopkins PhDs. You've made your mark at one of the great research universities in the world. Please take some time to reflect on your accomplishments and to savor this moment before you head off to the next phase of your lives. I'd like to return to the exploration theme because that's been so important in my own personal experience. The thrill of discovery, of exploring new phenomena or new ideas. This is what has propelled me throughout my career. it was May 1982 when I sat in your place, a newly minted Hopkins PhD. I actually don't remember if Hopkins even had a hooding ceremony at that time. I remember being at a graduation ceremony, but I have no idea who gave the speeches. And surely you'll remember 37 years from now the wisdom I'm about to impart to you during this ceremony, right? Well, I don't think so, but anyway. Seriously, though, I'm happy to say that my Hopkins degree launched me on a trajectory I could never imagined on graduation day. Launched is the key word, because I've been incredibly lucky over the past few decades to have participated in multiple space missions, including the Hopkins Ultraviolet Telescope Project and the Far Ultraviolet Spectroscopic Explorer mission, both of which are Hopkins-led projects, and the Hubble Space Telescope, whose science headquarters is right here on the Homewood campus. I'm currently working on NASA's New Horizons mission, which was designed and built at Hopkins Applied Physics Laboratory, which is right down the road in Laurel, Maryland. New Horizons explored Pluto and its 5 moons and is continuing to investigate the outskirts of our solar system. But talk about delayed gratification. The New Horizons spacecraft was launched in January of 2006 from Cape Canaveral in Florida and was the fastest spacecraft ever to leave the Earth. It was over the Indian Ocean in about 45 minutes, where it got a boost from its final boost from its 3rd stage rocket to head into space at approximately 36,000 miles per hour. The spacecraft crossed the orbit of the moon in only 9 hours. It took the Apollo astronauts roughly 3 days to get there, and it reached Jupiter in just 13 months, another record. The spacecraft flew through a small keyhole in space just behind Jupiter and stole a little momentum that accelerated the spacecraft by an additional 20% and cut more than 3 years off the travel time to Pluto. But even with that boost, the New Horizons spacecraft didn't arrive at Pluto, which is about 3 billion miles from Earth, until mid-July 2015, fully 9.5 years after the launch. So that's a long time to wait, but fortunately, Pluto delivered. You can imagine how the New Horizons team felt when we saw Pluto being transformed from a pixelated blob with virtually no detail, which is how it looked even through the powerful Hubble Space Telescope, into a real world with incredible terrain complexity and diversity, and with a giant heart-shaped nitrogen sheet dominating the side of Pluto facing the spacecraft. Who would have thought that such a small world, Pluto being only about 3/4 the size of the Earth's moon, could be such an incredibly vibrant and complex place? And the adventure continued after we sped past Pluto, plunging even deeper into the Kuiper Belt, which is a torus-shaped region surrounding the sun just outside of Neptune's orbit that we didn't even know it existed until the early 1990s. And contrary to the original view that Pluto was a runt and an outlier among the objects in the solar system, Pluto has now been rehabilitated as the gatekeeper to the Kuiper Belt and its largest known body. The next flyby target after Pluto was even smaller than Pluto, but perhaps even more important scientifically. The Kuiper Belt object MU69, it'll get a better name in a few years, is the most primitive object ever encountered by a spacecraft. By primitive, we mean little modified since the time of its formation, roughly 4.5 billion years ago. MU69 is primitive by virtue of its small size and its special orbit around the sun, an almost perfect circle, 43 times farther from the sun than the Earth-Sun distance, where it has spent most of its existence as a cold, well-preserved relic from the solar system's formation. Coincidentally, the New Horizons flyby of MU69 was on New Year's Day of this year. Our team And our New Horizons team and our families gathered at the Applied Physics Laboratory on New Year's Eve to witness the event, which was described by the Washington Post as the nerdiest New Year's party in the universe. But it wasn't quite as nerdy as you might think, because we had Brian May there, the lead guitarist for Queen, who also happens to be having a PhD in astrophysics, and he helped us rock in New Year's and also share our ideas about why MU-69 seemed to resemble a cosmic snowman, two roughly spherical objects glommed together, the most primitive object we've ever observed. As you can probably tell, I really love my job, and I feel very grateful that I can get paid for pursuing a career that I love. Perhaps not all of you will be so lucky, but hopefully the potential is there for each one of you to have a rich, rewarding career that is intellectually stimulating. And not to preach, but I'd like to share one piece of advice with you. I think your path to personal happiness will benefit from trying to maintain a sense of balance in your life. Of course, there's no one-size-fits-all solution. The great Hungarian mathematician Paul Erdős was only interested in working on mathematical problems for virtually every waking hour during his entire life, even as a child. He lived out of a suitcase, traveling from place to place to work with collaborators, and he downed huge amounts of coffee and Ritalin to maximize his efficiency, so he could spend more time studying mathematics. Remarkably, he lived to the ripe old age of 83 and died as he wished, only hours after solving a geometry problem at a mathematics conference. But I think most of us would be happier pursuing a different path. Yes, it's good to work hard and pursue your research passion relentlessly, but also try to cultivate interpersonal relationships and diverse experiences, because those enrich our lives and can make us even better researchers by allowing us to recharge our creative batteries. So again, congratulations on your amazing achievement, and good luck as you move forward to establish your careers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hal, for sharing your experiences and your insights with us. Good afternoon. I am Beverly Wendland, the James B. Knapp Dean of the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, and I am so pleased to welcome families, friends, colleagues, and most of all, our doctoral degree candidates to our celebration today. And what a celebration this is. This is the time that we acknowledge, in a noteworthy way, the culmination of time you have spent in the lab, in the library, in the field, the satisfaction of a research problem solved, discoveries made, and new questions broached, the revelation of untold history, the sharing of new stories, and the engagement in lively and provocative conversation with the greater academic research community. All of that has brought you to this day, to this moment. We also acknowledge the sacrifices made while you glued yourselves to the computer to write reports and chapters and analyses, and a heads up to those of you moving on to academic positions, this will continue. And I think I speak for all assembled here that we share our profound respect for your commitment to seeing this endeavor through to its beautiful conclusion. Doctoral degrees can be both a labor of love and loathing, but they are an intellectual journey that few take, and the rewards of mind and spirit are many. Today, we also celebrate the devoted faculty members who have advised you and mentored you along the way, the professors who always had 5 minutes, who recommended a source that led you to an aha moment, who asked the right questions, and who encouraged you throughout. Thank you, professors, for accompanying our students through this often daunting process. Finally, I extend my thanks to your families and friends, even if, as was the case with my own family, they didn't always understand the names of your research. Their patience and support were crucial to your completion of this degree. In no small measure, your success is also their success. When your doctoral degrees are conferred, we will send you off into the world as representatives and alumni of Johns Hopkins University. And as such, you will be looked to as experts in your field, be it chemistry or economics, sociology or physics, history or biology. I have confidence that you will represent the Hopkins community extremely well. As you head out onto extraordinary new paths in your lives, know that you will make a difference in the world. Congratulations. We are so proud of your remarkable achievements. Okay, so before we begin, just a few quick logistics. The doctoral students from the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences will be called first, and Matthew Roller, our Vice Dean for Graduate Education, will read your names. As you come up to the stage, you will hand your card to the marshal and hand your hood to your advisor, who will proceed to place the hood on you. From there, you will exit via the opposite stairs over here. After we're done with the hooding of the Krieger School doctoral degree recipients, Dean Ed Schlesinger will call to order doctoral students from the Whiting School of Engineering. And so now, without further ado, let's proceed with the hooding.
Thank you very much, Dean Wendland. Before I begin, I ask you, this never works, but I always have to ask. I ask you to hold your applause until all candidates from both schools have been hooded. And we also ask, very seriously, that you remain for the entire ceremony, please. Our last candidate to go across the stage today, I believe, is Carl Shapiro. Carl, are you out there? Can you wave? So Carl is going to watch every one of you, and I hope you will all stay, every one of you, to watch and applaud for Carl. Thank you. Yes, and the reception won't begin till after all that. Okay, I believe we're ready once they get here. From the Department of Biology in the Krieger School of Arts and Sciences, Alexis Cesarine. Benjamin Clarkson. Frederick Dong. Andrea Kennard. Andrew Kesner. Matthew Russo. From the Department of Chemistry, Justin DeFrancisco. Eric Press. Heidi Vanderwouw. Liwei Zheng. From the Department of Comparative Thought and Literature, Catherine Boise Yacino. Benjamin Gillespie. From the Department of Earth and Planetary Sciences, Scott Pitts. Shinti Yu. From the Department of Economics, Emmanuel Garcia Morales. Shaiza Kayum. Delon Lee. From the Department of English, John Sampson. From the Department of German and Romance Languages and Literatures, Francesco Brenna. Christian Pack. From the Department of History, Jessica Levy. Rebecca Stoyle. From the Department of History of Art, Nicole Berlin. From the Department of History of Science and Technology, Emily Margolis. Emilie Raymer. From the Department of Philosophy, Anton Kabeshkin. Joshua McBee. Patrick O'Donnell. From the Department of Physics and Astronomy, Iskandar Atakhochaev. Prasenjit Bose. David Eli. Kathleen Harrington. Duncan Watts. That's physics for ya. Nora Hassan. Bean Jen. Yao Fu Zhou. From the Department of Political Science, David Dagan de Picciotto. From the Department of Psychological and Brain Sciences, Shipra Kanjlia. Rita Loyotile. Michaela Warnecke. From the Department of Sociology, Elizabeth Talbert. That's it for Arts and Sciences.
Thank you, Beverly, and thank you again, Harold, for your remarks. My name is Ed Schlesinger, and I'm the Benjamin T. Rome Dean of the Whiting School of Engineering, and I'd like to add my welcome and my congratulations to all of you, families, friends, and colleagues, and most of all, welcome and congratulations to our doctoral candidates. Earning a PhD is a remarkable achievement. It requires tremendous perseverance, dedication, and passion, and it simply is a lot of work. Arduous work at times, work that is not typically defined by a eureka moment, that sudden breakthrough when everything just falls into place, it all gets easy, and you surf the wave that lands you here on this stage. As you know, those eureka moments are rare and more often than not a myth. The work you have chosen to do here is not marked typically by epiphanies, but rather by the accumulation of layer upon delicate layer of knowledge, of insights that once gained do not solve the entire problem, but more likely lead you down another trail where you will search and accumulate new experiences and understandings as you proceed. This is what the process of creation and innovation actually looks like. The acts of transforming theory into practice and of creating knowledge that provides us not only a better understanding of the world, but also our place in the world, of what came before, and most importantly, what now is possible. I know that everyone here today appreciates how great your accomplishments are, and I'm honored to be here to celebrate your achievements. While the act of earning a doctoral degree requires incredible self-discipline, independence, and self-reliance, it also requires a close partnership between student and mentor. Today's ceremony also acknowledges the contribution of your mentors and celebrates the roles they have played throughout your entire experience. They guided but never carried you. They encouraged you and celebrated your achievements while also teaching you resolve, tenacity, and the ability to defend your discoveries. This is a relationship that will continue after you graduate and will likely help shape your career, no matter what road you choose to take, and will have meaning throughout your professional life. And I know that they share my deep pride in your achievements. And finally, I also want to recognize all of your families, friends, and peers, many of whom are here today, who made it their priority to encourage and inspire you. And so, before we continue with the hooding, I want to remind you, once the formal ceremony has ended, that Annika Penn, the Vice President of the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association, also wants to add her words of welcome and congratulation. And Annika will be followed by Evangelia Spiro, who will bring congratulations on behalf of the GRO. And now, Edward Shinerman, the Whiting School's Vice Dean for Graduate Education, will read the names of the School of Engineering candidates. Whiting School doctoral students, as you come up to the stage, please hand your card to the marshal and hand your hood to your advisor, who will place the hood on you. From there, you will exit via the opposite stairs. Pretty much what the Krieger School did. And now we'll proceed with the hooding.
Thank you, Ed. And let me repeat Professor Roller's instructions, because amazingly you, well, mostly listened. Please hold your applause until everyone has crossed the stage. We begin with the Department of Applied Mathematics and Statistics, Joshua Cape. Zachary Luberts. Elizabeth Ryland. Next is the Department of Chemical and Biomolecular Engineering, Alexandros Athinos. Elena Garcia. Janru Jin. Christopher Yankaskas. Jimmy Kirsch. Shurya Shankar Roy Berman. Tiana Warren. Next is the Department of Civil Engineering, Xiaohao Fu. Gary Lin. Ziyi Li. Ahmad Shaba. Jiazhen Zhang. Next is the Department of Computer Science. Amy Babe. Thomas Tensilo. Adrian Benton. James Brown. Kunal Lilani. Disa Memembre. Courtney Napolis. Yuri Ganikevich. Pushpendra Rastogi. Keisuke Sakaguchi. Nikita Ivkin. Alan Liu. Fabian Prada Nino. Jacob Pritt. Lee Song. Sheng Sheng. Purnima Rajan. Jeyu Zhang. Preetham Chalasani. Next is the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering. Ebuke Arinze. Saeed Ashrafinia. Adam Khalifa. Kangyuan Yang. Nathan Crookston. Kate Fischel. Kayade Sani. Kayade Sani. Kayade Sani. Han Lee. Kangmei Lee. Hongchen Sun. Chungji Liu. Siddharth Mahendran. Chong Yu. Next is the Department of Environmental Health and Engineering, Liang Chen. Evangelina Spyro. Daniel Willis. Next is the Department of Materials Science and Engineering, Fozia Ahmed. Darius Alex Williams. Jingji Li. Erin Gallagher. Jae-ho Park. Pando Wisisa. Fan Zheng. Next is the Department of Mechanical Engineering, Amy Dagro. Charles L. Meir. Vignesh Kanan. Fatma Madhu. Debjoy Malik. Meng Zhao. David Eastman. Joshua Davis. Gauthan Garamella. Carl Shapiro.
Good afternoon to Johns Hopkins University's newest PhD candidates. My name is Anika Penn, and I'm the first Vice President of the Johns Hopkins Alumni Association, a graduate of the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies, and a member of the Johns Hopkins University Board of Trustees. It is my privilege to be here to congratulate you on your accomplishments and on the journey that brought you to this day. I'm 5'2". I also welcome you to the next phase of your membership to the Johns Hopkins family of alumni, which now numbers more than 215,000 members worldwide. Today, you are being hooded by the first true university in the Americas. It was on June 13th, 1878, just 2 years after opening its doors, that Johns Hopkins University awarded its first PhDs to Henry Carter Adams in political economy, Thomas Craig in mathematics, Josiah Royce in philosophy, and Ernest Seiler in Greek. They received their degrees after surviving written and oral examinations, demonstrating their proficiency in principal and subsidiary subjects, submitting an elaborate research-based thesis, and determining a reading knowledge of Latin, French, German, and an acquaintance with the, quote, methods of modern scientific research, unquote. Your path was different, but your pedigree is clear. You stand on the shoulders of many great women and men who came before you, many of whom went on to populate other great universities around the world. Your Alumni Association is here to help you maximize that potential. A connection to Johns Hopkins is your gateway to the wide array of cultural, social, affinity, and networking events designed by our alumni. Your Alumni Association currently has over 100 alumni communities worldwide, participating in some 350 events each year in 17 countries, from this month's JHU Alumni Association's Hong Kong Deepwater Beach Environmental event to the Women of Hopkins Leadership Conference in DC this past March. Our goal is to celebrate the diversity of our community, whether you are a Whiting alum in Baltimore, a Sicer in New York like me, or a Bloomberg alum in Nepal. Wherever you go, there are Johns Hopkins alums where you are, there are Hopkins alums doing what you do, and most importantly, there are Hopkins alums doing what you would like to do next. And we're here to connect you with them and the university. If you don't find a group that interests you, we will assist you in forming other groups that represent your needs and interests. I encourage every graduate here to visit Go Hop Online, a platform for all JHU alums, which is easily linked with your existing Facebook and LinkedIn accounts, as well as the various other social media outlets that the Alumni Association actively maintains. Your pedigree from Johns Hopkins has the advantage not only of history and reputation, but of a global network of alumni who will help you both broaden and sustain the relationships you have developed not only at Homewood, but with others from across the JHU universe. I have been honored to serve as a volunteer for the university for more than 10 years in a multitude of roles representing my own division as well as the entire university. I hope you will join me and the thousands of other alumni who use these opportunities to enrich their lives both personally and professionally. Congratulations to each and every one of you. I wish you the very best. I hope that this will be the first of many opportunities where our paths cross, and as you go out and celebrate, remember that you are forever a part of Johns Hopkins.
Congrats! Today is a big day for all of us. Personally, I'm finally fulfilling my family's dream of becoming an educator. Back in 2007, my family told me that electrical engineering, unlike School of Education, was not for women. Today, I'm excited to graduate with so many amazing women. A lot of challenges still lie ahead of us, but let's save this discussion for another day. Today, let's celebrate all graduates as we cross the finish line of a demanding journey. This day seemed like a dream during the long days and nights, when experiments didn't work, when manuscripts came back red-lined, when the reading list for GBO kept growing. Fortunately, those days are over, and today we can proudly celebrate our accomplishments and thank everybody who helped us along the way. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to our community. The empowerment that community provides cannot be overstated. I'm grateful for all GRO officers, student groups, faculty, and staff who work towards strengthening the bonds of our community. Our community has thrived by offering an open-minded forum for academic progress, peer support, and civic engagement. As we formally join the ranks of Academy today, I invite you to think about community engagement inside and outside of the Academy and professions. Inside, by being good stewards at our institutions and professional societies, we can empower others, nurture collaborations, generate ideas, and contribute to academic progress. Outside, by making research accessible to lay audiences, and by participating in public discourse, we can articulate research questions and solutions with tangible impact and positively influence decision-making at all levels. In times where the only certainty is an uncertain future, building strong communities makes us resilient. Let's resist the temptation of turning into academics and professionals confined to ivory towers. Let's stop worrying how winds of public distrust might shatter our ivory towers, and instead work with and for our communities, building the future. Congrats again. Thank you.
Thank you, Anika and Evangelia. To all of today's guests, thank you for attending and sharing your loved ones with us for the last few years. We greatly appreciate it. And to today's doctoral candidates, I wish you the very best. Continue to make your families, your university, and yourselves proud. Continue to break new ground, create new knowledge, and help make our world more just and enlightened. Congratulations one last time. I'm now happy to invite everyone to a reception in the Brody Learning Commons. Audience members, we ask that you please remain in place until the recession has concluded. Volunteers are on hand to direct your path. Now, if the students and my colleagues will please stand,